Good day, ma'am. This is our discussion about our topic, linguistic varieties and multilingual nation. So what is linguistic varieties? According to Richard Nordquist in Sociolinguistics, language variety, also called lek, is a general term for any distinctive form of a language or linguistic expression. To understand the meaning of language varieties, it's important to consider how leks differ from standard English. Even what constitutes standard English is a topic of hot debate among linguists. Standard English is a controversial term for a form of the English language that is written and spoken by educated users. For some linguists, standard English is a synonym for good or correct English usage. Others use the term to refer to a specific geographical dialect of English or a dialect favored by the most powerful and prestigious social group. So, what are the subcategories of linguistic varieties? Linguists commonly use language variety or simply variety as a cover term for any of overlapping subcategories of a language, including dialect, register, jargon, and intellect. So what is dialect? A dialect is a regional or social variety of a language distinguished by pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. The term dialect is often used to characterize a way of speaking that differs from the standard variety of the language. So, next, register. Register is defined as the way a speaker uses language differently in different circumstances. Think about the words you choose, your tone of voice, even your body language. You probably behave very differently chatting with a friend than you would at a formal dinner party or during a job interview. These variations in formality, also called stylistic variation, are known as registers in linguistics. Registers are used in all forms of communication, including written, spoken, and signed. Depending on grammar, syntax, and tone, the register may be extremely rigid or very intimate. You don't even need to use an actual word to communicate effectively. A huff or exasperation during a debate or a grin while signing hello speaks volume. Jargon. Jargon refers to the specialized language of a professional or occupational group. Such language is often meaningless to outsiders. In other words, jargon has social implications similar to dialect prejudice but in reverse. It is a way of making those who understand this particular variety of language more erudite and learned. Those who are members of the group that understand the particular jargon are considered smart, while those on the outside are simply not bright enough to comprehend this kind of language.
Types of leks. So we have regional dialect, sociolect, ethnolect, and idolect. Types of leks, in addition to the distinction discussed previously, different types of leks also echo the types of language varieties. Regional dialect, a variety spoken in a particular region. So what are the examples of regional dialect? As opposed to a national dialect, a regional dialect is spoken in a particular area of the country. In the USA, regional dialect include New Jersey and Southern English, Britain, and many more. What is an example of a dialect? An example of dialect is Cantonese to Chinese language. Spanish and French are Romance dialects. Why are regional dialects important? Language and dialect preserve the unique cultural elements of a given place. Individual dialect express the unique qualities of a particular region. Our world needs dialect and individual expression to keep cultures alive for future generations. Preserving dialect is good for creativity, innovation, and business. We have second is sociolect. In sociolinguistic, a sociolect is a form of language non-standard dialect, rhetoric register, or a profession, an age group, or other social group. Individuals who study sociolect are called sociolinguists. And the third is ethnolect. A lect spoken by a specific ethnic group. For example, Ebonics, the vernacular spoken by some Africa. Ethnolect notes a language translationism. So, what are the examples of ethnolect? So, examples of ethnolect: Jewish American English, previous German Australian English, and African American vernacular English. The other type is called a multilingual because several minority groups use it collectively to express their minority and or as reaction to that status to upgrade it. So what is the purpose of ethnolect? Using ethnolects allows speakers to define their social position and helps them construct their identity. So last one, we have idylect. According to E to F, the language or languages spoken by each individual. For example, if you are multilingual and can speak in different registers and styles, your idiolect comprises several languages, each with multiple registers and styles. So, what is your understanding of idiolect? An idiolect is a dialect of an individual person at one time. This term implies an awareness that no two persons speak in exactly the same way, and that each person's dialect is constantly undergoing change by the introduction of newly acquired words. That's it.
Multilingual nation. A personal skill such as the ability to read, to speak, and to write is regarded as the essentials for status in less literate, multilingual, and multicultural societies. Moreover, people nowadays use more than one language because they need this language for different purposes. What is multilingual nation? It is nation which uses different varieties of language. Multilingual means involving several different languages. Why do people need to know more language? People speak different language to communicate because nowadays people around the world travel to one country to another. Acquiring another language enables us to develop a variety of mental abilities called multilingualism. The act of using or promoting the use of multiple languages, either by an individual speaker or by a community of speakers, is the ability to speak, read, or write several languages or many languages with some facility.
Multilingual person is one who can communicate in more than one language through speaking, writing, and signing, or through listening, reading, and perceiving. A multilingual person is generally referred to as polyglot. Poly means many and glot means language, which means a person who knows many languages. Multilingual person knows not just one language but at least two or more. Comparing two multilingual persons. Compound bilingual. Words and phrases in different languages have the same concepts. Compound bilingual are the words and phrases that have the same concepts in different language uses by one speaker. Coordinate bilinguals. Words and phrases in the speaker's mind are all related to their own unique concept. Coordinate bilingual are the words and phrases in the speaker's mind that they use with their own uniqueness. National and official languages. A national language is the language of a political, cultural, and social unit. It is generally developed and used as a symbol of national unity, which means Wikang Filipino was the symbol of national unity in the Philippines. Learning a new language actually sharpens your knowledge of your primary language by making you more conscious of its roles and subtleties. The journey of learning a new language isn't just about learning the language. It's very much about learning the culture associated with that language.